Oh, sorry, I was pointing at the WrestleMania sign. You know it's that time of year again. But anyway, hello folks, shintigercurl here, that dude in straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome review. Yep, it's Monday night. You know what that means? It's time for some good old-fashioned Raw. We are off the heels of Royal Rumble, where a lot of shit went down last night. So how is the WWE going to follow this up? I do have my notes. Let's get started. First up, of course, Vince and Steph have to come out and, of course, brag about how they screwed Roman Reigns. That's right, but Vince McMahon didn't screw Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns screwed Roman Reigns. And they came out to introduce the current CEO of the WWE, as well as the 14-time world champion, Triple H. Of course, Triple H does what he does best, brag about how he screwed over Roman Reigns, which I enjoyed. Yes, I actually enjoyed this kind of shit. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. But yeah, he says tonight, he and the rest of the authority will be evaluating all the singles matches tonight to determine who will be the next person to challenge Triple H for the world title at WrestleMania. So they decide that they will pick a certain number of people to compete in the main event at the next pay-per-view, Fastlane. And whoever wins that main event will go on to face the Game at WrestleMania. So anyway, we start things off with Dolph Ziggler versus Kevin Owens. This is a pretty okay match. Start things off nice and fresh. Kevin Owens still smarting after that hellacious last man standing match he had with the Titty Master. But he still pulled off a good match. He won, of course. Dolph Ziggler, you're not beating Kevin Owens. Not tonight. Next up, the Jabberwockies, a.k.a. the Social Outcasts, decide to do the obligatory invite the resident hometown artist into the ring for some shenanigans and what have you. This time, it was Flo Rida who was providing the theme for this year's WrestleMania. Well, again. He gets into a rap battle with Bo Ryder. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that Bo beat Flo Rida in a rap battle, and I kind of admit that he did. And I'm also kind of saying they should have got Sizzle for this, because Sizzle is hot fire. Anyway, this segues into our next match, the Dudley Boys versus the Jabberwockies, consisting of Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. This was a throwaway match. Really, you could have skipped this match. It had some interference by Flo Rida. Really, you could have thrown this away and nothing would have been lost. Next up, a match that I never thought I would be saying on this channel. Ever. Unless this was a dream matchup, or unless I was playing 2K16, or it was some old school match outside the WWE that we never got to see. But yes, you were hearing this right. AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho. The Phenomenal One's debut match in the WWE on Raw against the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla. A lot of people consider, well, he should have been fighting against the main, or he should have been fighting an active or a full-time active member of the roster. Look, you need a way to cement his status as being that damn good. And Jericho, despite being up there in age, is still an amazing athlete. He's in his mid-40s, and yet he still can run rings around these young boys. So this is the last night was a good way for him to debut to the WWE in general. But for Raw, you need to put him in there with one of the best guys in the ring. And Jericho is still technically one of the best workers in the ring. Full-time or part-time be damned. This was something I wanted to see when Jericho got in the ring with AJ Styles, because the two of them, to my knowledge, have never faced off in any capacity. So this was good. This was a good match. Jericho versus AJ. And we know Jericho. He's the type of dude who will put a young guy over. That's what he's been doing since he's been back. He's been putting the younger guys over and making them look good, or working together to make them look good. There were a few flubs in this match, but nothing to take away from the overall experience. AJ, of course, won. But I don't think this is the last time we'll see the Phenomenal One and the Ayatollah go one-on-one again. Next up, and just when my boner couldn't get any harder, Sasha Banks. Got a one-on-one matchup with Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. This was a very good match. I liked watching these two go at each other until it was interrupted by a very salty Charlotte. Sans Ric Flair, which was a good thing in my book. This just builds up a rivalry between the three of them, and hopefully this will lead to a triple threat at WrestleMania for the women's title. I'm not going to call it the Divas title. This is when it's involving these ladies, it's the women's title. Next up, all night, they have been teasing the return of a WWE superstar, a legend, if you will. And it turned out it was a Miz. Nah, just kidding. It was The Rock. That's right. They were in Miami, Florida. Of course they were going to have The Rock. And contrary to what some people would think, this was actually awesome. Rock comes out and he is trolling everyone. He trolls The Miz. He trolls The Big Show, which makes him cry. Look, this is a couple of Big Show's tears. His tears are so delicious. Nothing like Big Show tears. I could bottle that shit and make a fortune. Then he trolls Lana and Rusev. Well, Rusev, like I said on Twitter, looks like The Rock took a shit on his Danish. Poor guy. So The Rock comes out and he does the typical Rock thing. He gets the crowd hyped up. One thing he gets good that I really enjoy was earlier in the night. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I kind of skipped one because it was so forgettable. Bray Wyatt versus Kane. This match was so forgettable. Not to say that neither of them did any bad job. It's just that we've seen Kane versus Bray Wyatt or any member of the Wyatt family before. We're sick of it. But the fans, they were more hyped up for three cosplayers in the crowd. One dressed like Taker, one dressed like Hogan, and one dressed like, ooh yeah, the Macho Man. But anyway, this leads to what I was saying about The Rock. He goes off script and goes out and actually talks to these guys. And that probably made their lives. And he was saying shit that no one else but The Rock could get away with. Like, who you dressed as, boy? Like, Undertaker. Man, that Miami weed must be good. But yeah, there was also another guy who was dressed as The Rock. And he got some attention. But yeah. That was awesome for The Rock to do. He got some attention. He said he was going to be hosting WrestleMania, I think, this year, or just be appearing. And then, just when you think this segment couldn't get any more awesome, the New Day come around. I can't tell you how many words that this was so awesome because I love The Rock and I love the New Day. I can't do this promo any justice. Llama penises. That's all I'll say. Unibitches. That's all I say. Anyway, he calls out his cousins, the Usos, to come out, and together they beat the crap out of the New Day. Awesome. I love you, Rock. Next up, Paige and Natalya versus Brie, Bella, and Alicia Fox. A little bit of news for those of you who don't know. Nikki Bella, Brie's sister, who's been out of action for a while, is apparently undergoing extensive neck surgery that could be career-threatening. Now, I've been extremely critical of the Bellas before, but this is a serious matter, so I'm not going to wish ill upon her or anything. Like, I still respect anyone who steps in those squares, in that square circle. Yes, even Eva Marie. Yes. So yeah, I hope this really isn't a career-ending injury because I've seen a lot of wrestlers whose careers have come to an untimely end. Edge, Santino Marella, Corey Graves, a lot of guys who really could have wrestled a lot more, but they had to end their careers early, had to retire early. So I hope this isn't that isn't so bad. So I wish her a speedy recovery. Anyway, it's a pretty good match. Paige and Natty pick up the win. Nice. Next up, we have a pissed-off Miz versus the now two-time United States champion, Kalisto. This is a very solid match. Very back and forth. It showed off both of their styles complementary. The ending comes when Kalisto counters reverses the skull-crushing finale into the Ceiling of Del Sol. a rather ugly one, but still it was a pretty cool reversal. He picks up the win. And finally, the main event. Dean fucking Ambrose and Roman Reigns, after enjoying his cookies, take on the team of Sheamus and Rusev. Rusev is in a bad mood and he wants to take it out on Roman because of what The Rock said to Lana. He didn't say anything bad about it. It's just, well, you don't want to hear that your fiance did the DJ mustache ride with The Rock. Yeah, Google that. But anyway, this was a very good match. And as one of my new subs and a friend of mine on the CBR forum said, how is it that Dean Ambrose can look fresher and more energetic in this match than Roman Reigns when he wrestled far more and did a lot more last night? Since he not only had to wrestle in that brutal-ass last man standing match, but he wrestled all the way to the end from his spot in the Royal Rumble against Triple H, while Roman pretty much wrestled for a little bit, went backstage to rest, and came back. So, Dean Ambrose is a mutant. Anyway, this was a very good match. Nice back and forth. Dean and Roman pick up the win, and they decide to send a message to the League of Nations for fucking with him last night by putting Rusev through a table. This is not a good night to be Alexander Rusev. Then a sexy power comes out, Steph, looking like Tifa from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. She announces that the main event for Fastlane will be a triple threat match, the winner facing the game at WrestleMania. The combatants will be Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta get something. Wooden sword. And Brock Lesnar. Yeah. Just making sure. Brock Lesnar's like Candyman. You can't just say his name willy-nilly. He'll come alive. And well, I don't want to go to Suplex City. But yeah, that in the main event, the one-man crime spree versus the Titty Master versus he who eats cookies. So yeah, this kind of makes things interesting. Two brothers have to fight not only each other, but fight the walking genocide that is Brock Lesnar. Okay, he didn't hear me. But yeah, that was Raw. My thoughts? It was a pretty good show. There was some dull and low moments in the match, particularly Bray Wyatt versus Kane really killed the crowd. The Rock coming out with the New Day was awesome. AJ Styles made his glorious debut on Raw, facing off against the Ayatollah Rock and Roller. And we've got things nice set up on the road to WrestleMania. So that's my video. Like what you see? Link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just want to talk about this Raw or question for the day? What were you more hyped for? AJ's debut or The Rock's promos with the New Day? Leave it in the comments. I will get back to you. Want to support the channel? The tip jar is up there. Patreon's in the description. Also, I have some new goals in mind for my Patreon in case you want to subscribe. Like, if you donate a certain amount of money, I will also pledge a certain amount of money to your Patreon as well, or a Patreon of your own choosing. So let's see how well that goes. Also, hit me up on Twitter. #CaptainLuffy. So, until next time, it's been shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good night, and I have to do this every video, until WrestleMania.